Coming up on Point News, the latest on the suspect accused of murdering a University of Pittsburgh student, what the victim's friends are doing to help her family.
Plus, the return of Apple Fest, how students geared up for fall in Village Park this week.
And cheap scares, a look inside some of the best and affordable hauntings in Pittsburgh. Point News starts now.
Live from the Point Park University Broadcast Center in downtown Pittsburgh, this is Point News.
Good afternoon, I'm Francesca Franzalio.
And I'm Casey Houlihan. We begin today with breaking news. Last week we told you about the tragic murder of a student at the University of Pittsburgh. Today, a new development. Police charged Matthew Darby last week in the murder of Elena Shayket. Today, police filed rape charges against Darby for an incident in Elizabeth Township less than a week before her murder. No information is known about the rape victim or is available at this time. We're also learning more details now about how the suspect was captured and how the victim's friends are supporting her family. For that, we turn it over to Claire Costello in studio. Claire?
Thank you, Casey. A vigil was held on Monday for Pitt student Elena Shayket, who was murdered nearly 2 weeks ago. The suspect is her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Darby. He is currently under arrest and being held in South Carolina prison, where police say they found him late last week after attempting to break into a home in Myrtle Beach. Darby will be brought back to Pittsburgh later this month. Shayket was buried last week. Her friends have now raised nearly $18,000 after starting a GoFundMe page to help the family with funeral expenses. Local supporters at Monday's vigil lit candles in honor of Shayket and discussed the impact that her murder has had on the community. Before the murder, Darby was served with a PFA, and the local judge told Shayket that he feared for her safety. Lawmakers are now working to pass a law that may allow electronic monitoring of some PFA offenders. If the law is passed, it may be named Elena's Law. Let's send it to Francesca.
Thanks, Claire. A Pittsburgh City Councilwoman is making headlines nationwide for her revelation as part of the Me Too social media campaign. Me Too is a hashtag used by victims of sexual harassment earlier this week. Councilwoman Natalia Rudiak used the hashtag in a post during which she revealed she'd not only had been sexually harassed, but also sexually assaulted. In a Facebook post, she detailed how difficult it was to come forward with her story. Now she's being interviewed by CBS This Morning in a piece about sexual assault and harassment survivors sharing their stories online. The Me Too hashtag started in the wake of the Harvey Weinstein controversy. Weinstein is a Hollywood producer accused of inappropriate sexual behavior with dozens of women over decades.
Pittsburgh is among Amazon's top choices for its second headquarters. The online retail giant has announced they're building a second home base, which could create thousands of jobs in whichever city is chosen to get the location. Moody's Analytics has ranked Pittsburgh in the top 5 of likely cities where Amazon will build their second headquarters. Using Amazon's stated preferences, Moody's ranks Pittsburgh 5th, behind Austin, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Rochester. The folks at Permane Brothers say they won't let Pittsburgh go down without a fight. They announced on Twitter this week that they'll give free sandwiches to all Amazon employees should the second headquarters be built here in Pittsburgh. City officials submitted its proposal to Amazon yesterday ahead of tonight's midnight deadline.
Launching a career in journalism isn't easy, let alone an entire media outlet. But Dejan Kovacek had proven it's possible.
So often the case.
I have a video.
They're not scrolling it.
You have to be into journalism. Now, that obviously takes on a lot of different forms anymore. It's not just about trying to get from smaller newspaper to the next level newspaper to the next level newspaper. That's the way it used to be. Now it's just a matter of going out and pretty much independently producing the best possible content that you can and making a name for yourself.
Center for Sports Media and Marketing. Point Park has really grown its forensic science program in recent years. The program is currently in the middle of Forensic Science Week, which included a mock crime scene in the lobby of one of Point Park's main buildings.
Yes, Fran, and I had the chance to open the case and investigate the scene.
Week, the lobby of Academic Hall transformed into a crime scene. With the help of a mannequin and some creativity, the Forensic Science Club created a murder mystery. The students were presented with a board of information on the crime and 4 possible solutions. Once they think they've cracked the case, the students place their raffle tickets into the corresponding bin for a chance to win a prize.
So the Forensic Science Club basically is we try to cater towards just majors, non-majors who are just interested in forensic science. So we try to come up with events that both people would appreciate and that are fun and that can get not only like our members and majors involved, but the whole school.
Forensic students typically work on cases like this in the Crime House, a classroom on the 5th floor of Academic Hall where crime scenes like this one are set up.
So we decided that this year we wanted to make it a little more interactive, a little more accessible, so people didn't have to go upstairs into the room and they could see it just walking by and participate.
The club has one more event before their case is officially closed. Reporting for Point News, I'm Casey Houlihan.
Thanks, Casey. Coming up next, we sit down with a student government senator who is milking out his senior year. What initiative he is trying to pass.
And later, some of the best sports in Pittsburgh spots, to go for your hauntings this semester. We'll be right back.
What would you do to create something that could survive 1,000 years? You'd start with a formula, head to the lab, and forge it with fire. Just imagine everything it could do. It could leak pollutants into the soil and water, or it could conserve energy, cut CO2 emissions, and reduce raw material. Recycling is more than cutting waste. Recycling is about the legacy you want to leave. Why on earth would you want to do anything else? Recycle. Don't throw away our chance at survival.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Krupp alongside Jess Paterchak. Tonight we begin with
The mayor is continuing to deal with the challenges the city is facing.
But tomorrow we have just a little bit of cloudiness.
off throughout the day with some strong wind gusts. That's going to continue tomorrow. 20
teams have already started talking to free agents. Saturday's partly cloudy, but 70 degrees? Where is the pool at? I mean, come on.
You might have already burned your bracket, ripped it up. I am Royce Jones.
And I'm Casey Houlihan.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight, Virginia.
UView Television is live here at the Center for Media Innovation with a very exclusive interview with Point Park's Black Diamond, our school mascot. We're taking questions on our social media at UView Television.
Our first question came in from @PointParkU Black Diamond. They want to know, what is one thing you love about Point Park?
UView.
I knew it.
UView's the best.
It is. All right, Alex, you want to read our next question?
Okay, we have another question from Point Park Cab. They're asking, when is the next time you're going to make a surprise appearance at their next event?
He's being coy. Looks like we're going to have to show up.
Yeah,
to
I guess we'll have to see.
All right, that's all we have for right now, but you can submit your own questions at UView Television, and we might read one of yours after the break.
Welcome back. Matt Bauman just joined the United Student Government this year as a senior.
He ran on the milk party with the hopes to add milk to the meal plans in the cafe.
Monday, he got to talk face-to-face with food service representatives as he continues to make his case for milk before his time at Point Park expires. Matt joins us in studio now.
Matt, so first question I have to ask, what prompted you to start this milk party?
There was a big issue with the Point Cafe. Their only options for a drink available with a meal purchase are soda and fruit juice, both of which are extremely high in sugar, which extremely unhealthy, and so we wanted to get a healthy option on that.
It's really smart. I like it.
So what has Culinart's response kind of been to your request? Have they been responsive to you?
So far, they have not given a affirmative or a negative. The issue right now, more so, is they said financially it might not be plausible, but I think health should trump finance. Yeah.
What some steps have you been taking when approaching the situation of making sure that they can bring milk into the meal plans?
We have opened up to talk more about that, to even find like a middle ground, like discounted or subsidized milk even, but it's still all in the process right now.
Do you think that this will be changed by the end of your senior year?
I hope so. That's the goal.
Yeah, so now Culinart changed a lot this year. We've got a new cafe, and we've added a lot more food, it seems like. So is there anything that you wish would have changed differently so that they could make the milk the exception?
Because we have all that space down in the cafe right now, adding even a milk machine similar to the one they have in the dining hall, I think would have been a great step. But once again, we're still in the process of trying to talk to them about what they envision and what we envision.
What has student response been to this? Have you gotten a lot of positive support from
A lot
students?
of positive support, yes. This is something that they want, I believe, and hopefully we'll be able to give it to them.
Now, is there like a Facebook group, anything on Twitter, like anything that you can keep up to date with all the news?
Keeping up with social media, but we can do more, definitely, and we will be.
So do you have a party name? Is it like Milkman? What is the
The
deal behind
official
this?
political party is just the Milk Party, and yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Getting more representatives on it.
Well, thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, best of luck with everything, Matt.
Hey,
I think
thank
it's
you.
a great idea.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Fran, it's that time of year. The leaves are changing and the temperatures are dropping.
The fall season brings out the ghouls and the ghosts, and Pittsburgh is the perfect place to get a haunting. Point News reporter Samir Nefsi has more.
For some, a trip to a haunted attraction is a date night or a time to hang out with friends. These attractions are most popular with college students. College students might think it's too expensive to get a good scare.
You have to get, bang for your buck. That's essentially what every college student looks for, especially something that's $20. If it was $5, it wouldn't be a big deal.
But we decided to look around to find the best attraction if you're on a budget. After searching, we found that Pittsburgh has two top haunted attractions in the United States, Scare House and Phantom Fright Nights, hosted by Kennywood. First on our stop, we stopped by Scare House. This hot spot is located in a building that dates over 100 years old. Buying a ticket, you buy admission to 3 different attractions: the Sunset Lodge, Nocturnia 3D, and Infernal.
The haunted house, we have the freedom to create our own content. We can be as crazy. We try some silly things, and it doesn't always work, but there's always that nice freedom of being able to try new things and do something fun and exciting.
And that's all for the affordable price of around $15 on their student nights, which take place on Thursday and Sunday nights. That's a hefty saving from the original price that can cost you upwards of $20. With an average walk time of 20 to 25 minutes, it feels like you're living your worst nightmare. Now switching from Scare House to Phantom Fright Nights at Kennywood. Kennywood is known as being one of the best and oldest American amusement parks. But at nighttime, it seems that the ghouls of Phantom Fright Night are in full swing.
Phantom Fright Nights is a whole new experience, completely different from what people are used to. In addition to the haunted houses, we've added for this year a new escape room called Raina's Trap.
And that's all for the affordable price of $16.99 on select student nights. So, my friends and I decided to see if we can make it out of Raina's Trap in 15 minutes. After you and a small group enter the escape room, you have 15 minutes to figure out, using the clues, how to escape. Unfortunately, my team did not make it out. It's time for you to attend these top attractions. Samir Nefsi reporting for Point News 4.
Before Point Park students head out to get their annual dose of scare, they took to Village Park to get their annual dose of apple cider and pumpkins. Point Park's food service provider Culinart held an Apple Fest in Village Park. Students had the chance to embrace the fall, whether at the outdoor market where they could shop for all the fall favorites such as apple cider and fresh baked pies, along with a fresh array of vegetables.
So events like this, we really want to give back to you guys. We know you guys are going into like midterm times, and what better way to get you out and shopping rather than put it right in your backyard.
In addition to the market, students could participate in a pumpkin painting contest. The winning pumpkin earns the student a gift card and will be featured in the Point Cafe.
Coming up next, a look ahead at this weekend's forecast.
And which Steeler wants out of Pittsburgh? We'll be right back.
What would you do to create something that could survive 1,000 years? You'd start with a formula, head to the lab, and forge it with fire. Just imagine everything it could do. It could leak pollutants into the soil and water, or it could conserve energy, cut CO2 emissions, and reduce raw material. Recycling is more than cutting waste. Recycling is about the legacy you want to leave. Why on earth would you want to do anything else? Recycle. Don't throw away our chance at survival.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Krupp alongside Jess Paterchak. Tonight we begin with
The mayor is continuing to deal with the challenges the city is facing.
But tomorrow we have just a little bit of cloudiness.
off throughout the day with some strong wind gusts. That's going to continue tomorrow. 20
Teams have already started talking to free agents. Saturday is partly cloudy, but 70 degrees? Where is the pool at? I mean, come on.
You might have already burned your bracket, ripped it up. I am Royce Jones.
And I'm Casey Houlihan.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight for today.
UView Television is live here at the Center for Media Innovation with a very exclusive interview with Point Park's Black Diamond, our school mascot. We're taking questions on our social media at UView Television.
Our first question came in from @PointParkU Black Diamond. They want to know, what is one thing you love about Point Park?
UView.
I
feel
knew
that.
it.
UView's the best.
It is. All right, Alex, you want to read our next question?
Okay, we have another question from Point Park Cab. They're asking, when is the next time you're going to make a surprise appearance at their next event?
He's being coy. Looks like we're gonna have to show up.
Yeah,
to
I
the
guess
event
we'll have to
out.
see.
All right, that's all we have for right now. But you can submit your own questions at UView Television, and we might read one of yours after the break.
Welcome back to Point News. I'm Samira Nefsi with your weekend forecast. So let's get started. This weekend, it looks like it's gonna be mostly light sweater season, So Friday, we're gonna start off with a low of 47, not that great. Then we're gonna move into a high of 73, not that bad, but it's gonna be sunny, so we can work with that, right? All right, and then we'll go into Saturday. High is going to be 78, not that great. And then we'll go into a low of 53, work with it. And then that's also going to be sunny. And then we'll go into a Sunday with the same high. It's going to be 78. And then, let me get out of the way. A low is going to be 58. It's going to be partly cloudy. It's not too bad though, right? It's a busy weekend for the Pittsburgh sports with the Steelers and the Point Park Soccer both hosting games this weekend. For more, let's head over to Bill Steinbach.
Thanks, Samir. The Pittsburgh Steelers were the first team in the NFL to record a win against the Kansas City Chiefs this season. The Chiefs, who were 5-0 until Sunday, lost to the Steelers with a final score of 30-9. This coming off of what was a rough loss to Jacksonville just the week before. The Steelers had to deal with several issues heading into one of their toughest games of the season. There were continual spats with the media stemming from post-game comments after that loss in Jacksonville, which sparked news of a lack of leadership in the organization. This left questions of doubt as to who really is the leader of the team. Now, earlier, the wide receiver Martavius Bryant reportedly requested a trade because he's unhappy with how the organization is using him on the field. The team has immediately reacted, jokingly, of course, and that is the joke. The story even has gotten out. Coach Mike Tomlin called the news a non-issue. The Steelers move on to host the Cincinnati Bengals. Sunday kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. In hockey news, the Pittsburgh Penguins beat the New York Rangers 5-4 in overtime Tuesday night at Madison Square Garden. The Pens are now in third place in the Metropolitan Division. They're back at it tomorrow night at the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida, as they play the Florida Panthers. 1998 and 1999 NASCAR Xfinity champion and two-time Daytona 500 winner Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his wife Amy are expecting their first child. The Earnhardts are expecting a baby girl late next spring. Earnhardt made the announcement on Instagram with a photo of pink baby shoes. Earnhardt will retire from driving in the Cup Series at the end of this season. Finally, in Point Park sports, the men's, women, and soccer teams both host West Virginia Tech at Highmark Stadium on Friday. The men play at 4 p.m. and women at 6:30. Then on Sunday, the women kick the day off with more soccer action at 11 a.m. against Rio Grande. The men follow at 1:30 p.m. Admission is free to all Point Park home soccer games. That's it for sports, guys. Back to you, Casey and Fran.
Thanks, Bill. That does it for this week's Point News. Be sure to join us next Thursday live at 2 p.m.
Have a great week, everybody.